What's up you guys, it's Marie here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about dating in London and things that I've learned while dating in London. And some of these things are going to be about London specifically, and then some of these things are going to be about guys in general. Also, I'm kind of just freestyling this, so if I'm a little off topic or I don't get all the points exactly correct, like the numbers, just bear with me. So I guess the first thing I want to talk about is just being willing to meet up with guys. I feel like guys here are so much more likely to ask you on a date, to ask you to hang out, go get drinks, whatever. I think that the UK's large drinking culture plays into that, so it's very common to get drinks. But yeah, it's not like I'll probably get asked to go out for drinks 2 to 3 times a week. I typically have time to go on dates twice a week, so I've been going on dates 2 to 3 dates a week pretty commonly. Another thing that's really popular here is art galleries, so a lot of guys will want to go see some art. I love art. They probably also see that I like art as well, so that definitely has something to do with it. There is a huge pub sports culture, but I don't really participate in it because I don't know that much about sports, but I would be down to go on a sports date, I guess, if I was asked. So people always ask me if British guys are more reserved than American guys, and I would say that in terms of getting catcalled or being maybe followed on the street or something, I would say American guys are a lot more aggressive and in your face and persistent. However, British men are just as sexual and just as willing to try to get you to hook up with them or whatever as American guys. But I found typically that for me, the second that I see someone has a sexual innuendo in their profile, or they kind of message me with that kind of energy, I just end it with them. And so because of that, I think I found some guys who just want to go on dates and actual dates and actually meet other people and talk to people. And so that's been something that's been really helpful for me, and I would definitely recommend just don't pay attention to the weirdos, because there are weirdos in every culture and every place. So that's something I would definitely say. Thing number 3, I find that a lot of my conversations with British guys have to do with being American, and that's something I didn't really expect. But I think there's a lot more differences in our culture than I initially anticipated, and so that can kind of spark a lot of discussions. It's well, who's better? Is it the Americans or is it the British people? Who says this better? Who does this better? Whose politics are better? But I think overall what I found is that British people are just not super happy with their government right now. A lot of the guys I've been on dates with, they're all pretty liberal, and there's a lot of overhaul in the British government, which was basically us in 2016 when we were all embarrassed of Trump. So they all don't think very highly of Trump and American politics, but they also are all pretty ashamed of their own politics and the fact that right now a lot of them don't have power because of the way that the parliamentary system works. So that's something that I found super duper interesting, is just how much we talk about what we have in common, how easy it is to spark a conversation. Anytime I don't know what to say, I just talk about being American, and they're just really eager to get to know me because I'm American, I think, if that makes sense. So I found that guys are just kind of curious. They want to see what's up, they want to see where I'm from and what I'm about because I am American. So number 4, this is just a thing I found that was guys in general, but I found it specifically here, and I think it relates to some of my earlier points. I found that men are really willing to go with whatever energy you set and whatever you say. So I found myself becoming a lot more outspoken here. Typically if a guy wanted me to go to his house or wanted to hang out in a bummy place, before I would just go along with it, and then they would expect a hookup. And now I try to set a standard, and British men are the exact same as American men. They want to hook up and stuff, but now I feel I've set a standard of this is the things that I want in a relationship, and I'm pretty honest with that, and the guys kind of follow suit. So if I say I want to hook up, they'll be down to hook up, but a lot of them are looking for relationships, and so putting that out front and just speaking my mind, I don't want to do this, I don't want to go there. I've been a lot more focused on myself and what I want, and I found that that's really helped me in finding the right connections and meeting guys who are willing to be flexible and easygoing, but also proactive and making sure that we both have a good time. The 5th thing that I found about dating in London is I don't know if London guys are more willing to go exclusive. I think that they tend to be, I think they're a lot more eager to get into relationships and get to know you. But how important it is to have a roster is something that like has been still so important to me, because I found that, yeah, I can date one guy and he wants to be in a relationship, but when I have a roster, I'm able to compare different men and say like, this is what I really like about this guy and this is what I don't like about this guy. And I'm not saying have a roster as in like playing men, like having men just to have men, but I think that like we're all new to dating. Like we've only all been dating for like 5 or 6 years off and on. We've all been traumatized by our past relationships. Like none of us really know what we want. Having different guys I'm seeing has helped me really hone in on like what I want out of a relationship, what I want out of a partnership, and I found that like it's been so helpful. And it also just like makes me like less clingy, because I am someone who, when I get excited about a guy, sometimes I'll feel like there's not enough men in the world, this guy's the one. But when I go on like several dates back to back to back, I realize, oh, some of the qualities that I thought that I could only find in this guy, I'm also seeing in other guys, and this other guy I might have a quality that this guy might not have. So then while I wait for each connection to pan out, I can kind of focus on what do I really want and how is each thing serving my needs, if that makes sense. Like how am I understanding my own needs better by meeting these different kinds of guys and seeing how they like match and fit different parts of me. It's kind of like friendships as well. I'm definitely still someone who I think I want to see myself in a monogamous relationship, but I think that I've learned a lot about the fact that I can talk to multiple different guys at the same time. I can develop feelings for different guys at the same time for different reasons. Commitment, I think, is something that like I want the guy to lead, because it's easy for me to commit myself. So I think the guy has that bigger decision to make, because men are conditioned to want more options. So like that's not something I try to push for. So I guess that kind of like leads me to like another point, is like just like not pushing like for commitment has been something that's been really helpful for me. Like I thought I had to date for commitment and that I had to be committed and like see the future in every single guy, and so I would try to like decide right away if their traits were for me or not. Now I have a much more open mind, because I know I'm not going to commit to him right away. I know I'm dating different guys. I know I'm seeing and I'm learning about each guy. I'm giving myself time to know each guy, and so because of that, I feel less attached, and I also feel like I'm getting more of a good sense of the person and more of an objective sense of the person, if that makes sense. Oh, this is also another really important point. I found that interracial dating is just so much more common here in the UK. Like I think race is definitely still a factor. Class is such a factor here in the UK, but it's less spoken and the lines are a lot more blurred. You're exposed to a lot more communities in the same place, kind of like New York, but I find that in New York things are still a bit segregated by the different races, where here there's a bunch of different communities packed in the same place who all intermingle. Like you'll find like Asian communities and like Black communities, but you'll also find some like really mixed race communities and really a lot of mixed race couples, and so it's a lot less of a thing as something you'd be judged by or like people would look at you for. Whereas in America, anytime I'm with someone who's not of my race, I'm like looked at super weird and everyone's like, what's going on? But no, it's definitely a lot more normal here than it is in the US. I think this just has to do with like the history in relation to it, and the fact that people try not to see race doesn't mean that racism doesn't exist. It definitely does, but it's not been as much of an issue. I found like with who matches me, I found a lot more different guys matching me. I've matched with guys from like all sorts of like ethnic and religious and racial backgrounds and class backgrounds, whereas like in America I haven't matched with that, and I really enjoy that. I've learned so much about the different kinds of guys and different cultures that I can like talk to and meet with. I accidentally dated a police officer once, which that was a little bit too much for me, but yeah, I think I definitely appreciate that open-minded aspect to it. But yeah, I found that dating in London has been overall really easy, really fun, especially because every date here it feels like you're seeing something new and you're doing something new, so there's no complaints there. You're just like having a good time. I would definitely recommend it, you know, for anyone who's like thinking about like what they want to do, if they want to like date in London, definitely to see what's out there. I've learned so much about the culture, the different kinds of customs and people and just like preferences and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically all the things that I've learned from dating in London, going on so many dates back to back to back. If you guys want more stories, like a lot of dating story times, if you have any questions, be sure to like and subscribe and leave them below. I'm going to be doing more videos more consistently, so definitely ask, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao!